So we're gonna start for the fitness Q&A. Starting right now. So the first question is, what is the best way to burn belly fat? So in my opinion, I feel like the best way is to do compound workouts. So that's what you'll usually see me doing in my own personal workouts. The reason is because basically they exert a lot of energy, which relates to you pretty much burning more calories, which burns fat. So what a lot of people often do is they'll do the traditional things like cardio, and then they'll say, hey, let me run on this treadmill for an hour. And don't get me wrong, that's good, but the thing about it is that it takes a long time, and it's not really a sustainable thing to do, because you're not going to always want to go out and spend an hour working out. Sometimes you'll be tired and you want to only do 30 minutes. So in my opinion, I like compound workouts because they're quick, they're effective, they burn more calories, and they're sustainable because you can do them multiple times a week, and they don't suck as much energy out of you, and they also help you lose weight and fat as well. The second part to this question about the belly fat issue, so basically a lot of people don't understand is that you can't spot reduce fat. So you can't really say, I want to lose fat in a certain area. And most people, they usually say they want to lose it in their stomach. And that's impossible because science just doesn't work that way. You pretty much have to lose fat overall. And your body basically chooses where it stores fat. So for some people like me, it stores fat around like my midsection, like my obliques, on like the sides of my abs. For other people, it might be stored on their arms. So basically, you can't really choose consciously where you want your fat to either be stored or taken away. So if you wanted to lose fat, like let's say going back to the question around your belly, you would actually have to lose fat everywhere, because that's just how science works. And you would lose weight and you would lose fat all over your body, because you can't, like I said before, you can't really pick and choose where you want the fat to be lost. For the second question, if I lift weights, will I get bigger muscles? So this personally is one of my favorites because it's something that I did and I even noticed myself. So what a lot of people get confused about is they think weights are just for muscles, and like I said before, that's not true. Weights just tear down muscles, but just because you lift them, it won't automatically make you buff. That people become buff like I did is you pretty much have to lift weights and eat. You basically have to rip down the muscle fibers and build them up stronger, but you need to eat a lot because you need to basically have something to work with to build on top of the muscle that you already have. So in a nutshell, weights won't make you buff, and you would build muscle, but it depends on how much you're eating. Scenario that I use with a couple of my friends. So you have one person that's 120 pounds, another person that's 120 pounds, and then both of them, they lift the same weights. They lift heavy to moderate, and they work out 3 days a week. They curl and stuff, but the second person eats more. They, eat just a lot of extra calories. They're going to get buffer because the body has more to work with. And the first person, they'll get strong and they'll get some muscle as well, but it won't be as much as the second person because of the diet and because of how many calories they're taking in every day. Third question, how do I get a flat stomach? So this question relates back to the whole belly fat thing. So basically, in a nutshell, the best way to get a flat stomach is you have to be at a low body fat percentage. So that means that you have very, 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 very low body fat on your body in general. I know that sounds dumb, but you basically have little to no fat. So this can come in like the form of really muscular people, where they have most of their body just made out of muscle, or you have very skinny people and they're just pretty much muscle mixed with like just being slim, and they have very little fat. A common trait between those two types of people are that they usually have abs. So very, very slim people, like people who run track and people who are more lean and even do like a lot of endurance sports, they have abs. Same with people who are super muscular and they just have more muscle on them. They also often tend to have abs, and that's because of the low body fat percentage. So basically, in order to have your abs shown, you have to have a low body fat percentage. So genetically, as humans, we all have abs. The thing is that some of us, we just can't see them because they're covered by fat. So basically you have your abs here and you have a layer of fat covering it. I know that was a weird analogy, but just think about it that way. You have a layer of fat over your abs, and even though it might not be a lot, there still is something there, and that's the reason why you can't see outline abdominal muscle. In addition to that, another thing is that people also will sometimes wonder why, even though they have a low body fat percentage, why they don't have abs like other people, and that's also due to genetics, because sometimes some people just genetically don't have a super defined abdominal structure, and they're able to have abs, but they might not look like how other people's are, but they're still able to have them shown. Going back to the actual question itself, so yeah, the best way to get a flat stomach is just to bring down your body fat as low as possible to where it's at least healthy and where you start to see the results that you want. And like I said before, you do this by compound workouts, because I personally feel that they're easier, and you can look on my page and my YouTube channel for that. And they're more, I would say, efficient, and most of them are like 20 and 30 minutes versus doing a whole hour on a treadmill, and they're more effective too. Question 4, should I do cardio or weight training first? So personally, I feel that weight training is better because there's just more into it that people need to learn, and it honestly overall is a skill. And it needs to be taught because you need to, well, not taught, but it needs to be learned because you need to pretty much learn how to properly use weights and how to properly work out, because like first and foremost, you don't want to get injured, but you also want to make sure that you're properly learning how to contract your muscles and you're actually learning how to work out effectively, and you're not just pushing weight around. And in terms of cardio, I usually say second, because it's something that we've done since we were kids, and even kids who are less active, they can find ways to do cardio when they're young just by running. So I feel like the weight training thing should come first and cardio can follow up. But going to the second part of that question, in terms of doing cardio or weight training before a session, personally, I feel like you should do cardio after, because depending on who you are and how much endurance you have, it might fatigue you, and you don't want to be fatigued when lifting weights. So I prefer to do it after, but it really depends on your body and what you feel. Question 5, dietary supplements. So I feel that this topic is really controversial because some people have seen different results than other people who they've worked out with or have seen on their fitness journey. And I personally feel like it is kind of a case-by-case thing, but I personally don't take dietary supplements because I feel like if you eat a balanced enough diet, you'll naturally get the supplements through food. In personal experience, I remember always having protein shakes when I started working out for like the first 2 to 3 years. And after a while, I just stopped because I noticed that I was still growing, even though I didn't really have the protein shakes. And I still got my protein through food. So a lot of people, they don't realize that supplements are not really the most important thing when it comes to building muscle or getting. Most of the time, you'll have like your average Joe Schmo just going down to like a GNC, and they're like, oh, I need to get all these supplements and stuff. And, you know, because they're hype and they're ready, they start working out and they just see like all these things on YouTube or just in the fitness world about supplements, and they get wrapped up in it. And they don't always know the science behind it, because I was in that boat where I didn't know the science behind it. I just thought that more was better. And the point is that a supplement is to pretty much supplement a part of your diet that you're missing. So with protein, yes, it's good to have as a supplement, but the majority of your nutrition should come from solid food, because the supplement is pretty much to supplement what you didn't have throughout the day. So a perfect example would be if, like, let's say you're busy one day and you miss a meal, a supplement will come in handy then, because you're still going to get your protein, I guess, goals, or you meet your protein amount of protein that you need that day to still build muscle. So the thing is that a lot of people, they go overboard and they say, I need to just dump protein into my body, just dump as much as I can. And they think that more is better, but it's really not. And in terms of protein, more doesn't build you more muscle at all. Next question: what is the difference between free weights and machines? Free weights are pretty much self-explanatory. Those are like your dumbbells, a kettlebell. They're stuff that you like have to use on your own. That's not really connected to anything big. A machine is pretty much a machine. It's like stuff that's connected to like cables, like cable flies or a chest press, um, stuff like that. So, and a lot of people they'll get even a bench press mixed up. A bench press isn't a machine because the weight isn't really connected to anything while you're using it. So just think anything that has like a cable or some type of like, I guess, mechanism connected to it. Last question: how often should I work out? So personally, that also does depend on you. You still need rest days. And a lot of people will say, rest days are bad and no days off. But yes, your body does need to recover because, that's the overall goal, is to recover and get stronger and to build muscle. So I feel that you should not do, in terms of muscle building, you shouldn't do, I would say, more than 3 days out of the week. Some people do 4, but I would say, yeah, don't do more than 3 days out of the week. Just to give yourself time to recover. And like I said before, sessions shouldn't be too long because after a while, your muscles reach exhaustion and you're just burning more calories and you're just tiring yourself out and you're more prone to injury because you're more tired. I would say for sure 3 times a week is perfect and just enough time to heal in between sessions. I would say don't work out when sore, and I would say don't work out days back to back. Some people do, but I don't feel it's most efficient, and it depends on your schedule. But on a personal level, I don't feel like it's a really efficient thing to do. So I would say give yourself at least like a day or 2 to heal and then come back and just play around with it and see what works best for your body. Personally, I only work out 2 times a week and I do cardio 1 day a week. So I don't do too much and I'm still fit, but it depends on, your schedule and your body and how quick your body reacts to the stimuli of working out. That's it for today. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.